When I was kicked off of Nextdoor, which is an online platform where you can look for a plumber or meeting community, give advice, counsel people who were, suffering from loss of a parent or a child or even a dog, or otherwise um, talk about the news of the day. And I sounded off about the uh, post where somebody was complaining about scary sex offenders living in a halfway house not far away. I reminded people what the registry was really about and cautioned them that not everybody on there, as this woman wrote, were a violent sexual predator. And I explained that there are children on there and that there are people who did nothing wrong and there are people who were convicted of a crime and the so-called victim later recanted, but they still remained on the registry. Or the lady who didn't report a crime fast enough because she wanted to get the details on it. And I mean, the list goes on and on. But what I wanted everybody to realize is not everybody is what the public thinks, hiding in the bushes, ready to jump out and frighten you. And even if they were, what do you want to have happen to these people? They own homes, they pay taxes. Why are you making it difficult for them to get reacquainted to the community, to restart, when you're not putting the same effort against murderers and people who steal cars and steal financial resources, etc.? That's all. That's all I said. So what happened is I got thrown off the platform because enough people complained, but there were lots more people who supported what I was saying. But that didn't matter. And as the online Nextdoor people told me, it was because it was against policy for somebody on the registry to be in an online platform. So your First Amendment rights as a registrant are severely curtailed because you can't use online resources very easily. You do have to register them, which I had done, but one particular person in my neighborhood about a mile from me decided that I must not have registered it and taunted me about it, even though he had no evidence that I hadn't registered it. And in fact, I had. But because he thought so, he decided to contact the state patrol. I'm still waiting for them to get back to me. They're probably not going to. He also taunted me because I had an old ad up there that was for tutoring. And bluntly, I've tutored people before many times, and there was never ever any issue. No parent ever came forward. There was never a complaint against me for doing something against children. So the fact that this guy sounded off is simply because he could. Look, people on the registry are not in a protected class. They're considered to be what the old world might consider lepers. And that gives a certain type of people in the community who claim that they're protecting children, agency and apparent license to come after you and claim all sorts of things about you. And they know darn well very few people will come to your aid, including, in many jurisdictions, the police. So are they protecting children? Not really. Are they doing anything for children? Well, they could do volunteering at places where there are children. They could help, as I've said before, tutor children, which is a real big need, particularly in low-income areas. No, nothing like that. Instead, they become keyboard warriors attacking all of us online as if we're all a monolith and as if we don't deserve to go on with life. And we remember we own homes, we pay taxes, we make contributions already, and yet we are considered to be second-class citizens, even if you're like me and you did nothing in particular, even if you're a 9-year-old boy who might find themselves on the registry because they have an undiagnosed illness that created violence, or somebody who's intellectually disabled, like the autistic, or somebody who's suffering from dementia, or somebody who's operating under the old laws still, and because they didn't report the abuse that they didn't yet fully recognize, they are a lifetime sexual predator under law. You heard that right, a predator, even though they're not actually predators. And there are lots of people on the registry like that. And the public needs to be aware of it, which is where I came in. What better voice than somebody who's on it, who shouldn't be on it, to talk about it and to defend those who need to move on with their lives. And so this is what the registry does, folks. You need to get informed. It's costing you millions of dollars a year to put people on a registry when, if you haven't noticed, the people who are newly caught aren't on any registry. The cases that are happening in overwhelming numbers, into the 90%, are the ones actually committing these that are never caught.